Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we're going to talk about starting a series that delves into certain critical questions. And in order to get clarity, we need to think about these burning questions. Questions like, what was the argument that happened between Allah and Iblis, leading Iblis to become Satan? Or the significance of Surah Saad's verses where Allah questions the creation or ordered the creations to prostrate before Adam? And do you know about the two roles of the Prophet? And many other questions. So join us in this discussion as we delve deep into these concepts. For example, the interplay of Ruh, Jism, Nafs, Shaitan, Iblis, and explore the different groups of Muslims and their implications on them. Discover the prophecy of the 12th Imam alayhi salam, and how the test is planned for the Muslims and for the non-Muslims alike. All of this we're going to discuss in this series. So this is the first part of the series, and so before I go further into this part and the material for this particular discussion, I would like you to just click that notification so that you keep on getting the notification of what we're going to talk about, because it will be very important. So there are three things I want to cover today in this particular discussion. One is about the key aspects of Surah Saad that all Muslims should know about, from verses 67 to 85. And there are three big themes that are coming out in these verses. One is what happened before the creation. When I say before the creation of Adam alayhi salam. Second is about worshipping Allah and Allah's test. And third are other key concepts that are really important to understand the interplay of these concepts together, as well as what we're going to talk about in further topics. So from before the creation, we need to understand what argument happened in the heavenly assembly. What is the role of Nafs in Iblis' action? What four things happened to Iblis that made him Satan? What happened that triggered Satan to distract humans and lead them towards the hell? And from a worshipping Allah's and Allah's test perspective, we need to think about, is it okay to perform sajda to someone else other than Allah? Why are there tests of Allah, and what are they? Who was and wasn't ordered to prostrate before Adam? Did Allah's test end with Satan, or is it still continuing today? And then other key concepts include the knowledge of the Prophet. This is a very important topic. Does Prophet know everything, or does he not know everything? Are there two roles of the Prophet? And then what is the concept of Nabi Azim? Who is this Nabi Azim? These concepts will lay the foundation of our daily lives and the test that Muslim Ummah is going through. Let's talk about that in more detail. The narration of Prophet's ascension to Meraj and the interaction with Allah unveils really interesting dimensions. Three dimensions that I want to talk about. One is the narration itself. In that narration, did the Prophet know about the argument at the highest assembly in heavens, or did he not know about those arguments? And how is that linked to Surah Saad? What was discussed at Meraj between the Prophet and Allah about the test, and in relationship to the test of Iblis, how does that test of humans and Muslims link back to the test of Iblis? The second point is about that test of Muslims. Like Iblis, will Allah test the Muslims and other people through the test of a Khalifa? Was any Khalifa chosen by Allah for Muslims? Allah's promise of Jannah for the Muslim Ummah and conditions for that. Are there any conditions? And are there people who won't go to Jannah because they don't want to go to Jannah? And then the third point is about Prophet's prayer. What did the Prophet pray at Meraj for? And is there a relationship between Prophet's prayer and Allah's answer? Is that similar to what Prophet Ibrahim prayed for and what Allah answered? And is the prophecy of the 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi al-Islam, coming directly from Allah? And when we understand these concepts, they will showcase the test of Muslim Ummah and how to be successful as evidenced from the Quran. And then when we come to the third aspect, we can learn very valuable insights from the events of the early creation, but I am pretty sure people won't. People will not pay any attention to this, but my responsibility isn't to worry about who pays attention or not, but to highlight questions that they should know about. So one aspect of these questions is comparison of tests. As we talked about the test of Iblis versus Muslims, what is the difference between the test of Iblis and the Muslim Ummah, or the test of Iblis and humans? What are the implications for Muslims? For example, what is the implication for all the different sects of Muslims? Some people want to stay in the middle and they want to make everyone happy. Why would anyone want to be in the middle after knowing the truth? That will be the question that you should be asking yourself. And then when you think about these different dimensions of Muslims, there will be a concept that will come up about shifat. On one side, this concept is very prominent. If true, only a stupid person will neglect the concept of shifat, and we're going to go into the details of this concept. And then we're going to talk about the role of Shaitan. Choice is ultimately ours. Why? Because it will be difficult to go to the right direction because of the great deceiver who is already for the past 1400 years dividing the Muslim Ummah into groups. And then that's where we're going to talk about the interplay of the ruh, the jism, the nafs, and the role of shaitan in this interplay. And then ultimately we're going to talk about why is shaitan so focused on distracting the ummah from Ahl Bayt al-Islam. The biggest tragedy when we're going to see all of this, I'm pretty sure that will happen, that people will still ignore. Like they ignored all the signs that Prophet Isa showed. They said he's a blasphemy magician causing turbulence in the society. Or like they ignored Prophet Musa. So anyways, that doesn't matter. The important thing is we need to understand these questions. And that's the point. Thank you very much. We're going to continue this in the next discussion.